Scandalous.
Right decision.
No offence to Graham Potter, but he's not fit to tie Tommy Tuchel's laces. I'm just gutted that we've lost possibly one of the best managers we've ever had.
Now everything's money. It's money. It's 75 grand, 75 million for a player. You know, they're on 400 grand a week. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Well, he's won the Champions League, he's won the Club World Cup, he's won the FIFA World Cup, and he gets sacked. But that's Chelsea's ruthlessness.
Sometimes, you know, I think the players got us down to the counties sometimes here and there. So I mean, blame the managers all the time. But you've got players just come in and players gone out here and there. He's got time to settle down, the team that's settled down.
We've spent 300 million in the transfer window. He should have got them going quicker. We're not being tough enough on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And I think we do need a change.
Well, I think it was coming. I mean, you could tell by the body language last night at the game in Zagreb that things weren't right. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a bit of a shock, but I think it's probably expected. I think if Roman Abramovich was still here, he'd probably have gone by now.
Last season, he was effectively single-handedly running the whole club. Our owner was under sanctions. We basically didn't have a single person who was in charge of everything. It would have been a very good season how we had 2 penalty shootouts go our way, but we just lost both of those in the final, and unfortunately just a slightly bad couple run of games, and now they decide to sack him.
Does it indicate that they don't have a plan if they're sacking Tuchel so early on?
I don't think we've got a plan at the moment. We're completely unorganised, the team's unbalanced. We've lost Rudiger Christensen in the summer. We brought in Koulibaly and Wesley Fofana. They both look unstable at the moment. So I think we're still in the rebuilding process.
Well, saw it coming. We've been bad recently. Our form is terrible. We lost to, Croatia team or something? Yeah. It was terrible. After spending 200 million plus, it's bound to happen, especially if the team isn't behind him anymore.
Says a lot. I don't even think Abramovich would have sacked him, to be honest. And also, given how you've just given this guy £270 million and then sack him an entire week later, you spend all this money on positions that he's effectively meant to get the best out of these players. He's effectively meant to make us a competitive force again. The whole thing is madness. Timing is terrible.
Do you have any sympathy for Tuchel?
I do, considering he's won the Champions League, he's won the Club World Cup, he's won the FIFA World Cup, and he gets sacked. But that's Chelsea's ruthlessness. Every manager we get, if he doesn't perform, he goes. You know what I mean? That's it.
So who do you want to replace him?
Well, I've seen this morning we're looking for Graham Potter, which is a great decision for us. I don't know, we've got Pochettino that's out of work at the moment. There's a couple and Zidane. I do think we should go for an English manager. So if Graham Potter comes in, great. Zidane's only proven at Real Madrid. Pochettino hasn't won anything anywhere he's been. So, yeah.
I mean, this is Chelsea Football Club. We're currently champions of the world. Graham Potter's managed to get a side, just pushing the Champions League places. The funny thing is, Brendan Rodgers' name would have been in contention had Leicester had a better start to the season. So it just basically goes to show you how a good run former games he can suddenly get linked with all these top jobs. At the moment, I'm not particularly interested in who we get. I'm just gutted that we've lost possibly one of the best managers we've ever had, and I think it's a terrible decision.
Unfortunately, he's going to be remembered for the losses we had instead of the Champions League, which is sad, but I think it's about time we move on and get someone who can move the team forward.
As you mentioned, the amount of money spent in the summer, Boehly spent over £200 million on new players. Yeah. Hasn't really given them much time to gel. What does that say about his approach to ownership?
Team chemistry takes a lot of time. Some teams are built over years, decades. I would say he did. It was his team to buy and to pick, and he picked the signings he wanted. So, in my opinion, he could have done a little better, but it seemed the team was regressing in more ways than one, and they weren't playing for him anymore. You could actually see the players had no fight in them. It was pretty sad.
A good decision, to be honest. I'm not sure about how he's going to play with us, with the Chelsea club, but I think we are a great opportunity for Chelsea since we lost to Dinamo yesterday. I think some help is going to be great.
They spent a lot of money in the summer, and they haven't given Tuchel much time to use the new players. Do you think that's fair?
To be honest, nah, because Aubameyang just came, and then his performance yesterday was kind of yeah. So I think it takes time. The soccer team that I support in Brazil did the same thing. It took like 3 months to get the team to be I don't know how to say in English. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think it should take more time, like 2 months, kind of.
Which manager would you like to replace Tuchel?
Zidane. Yeah, Zidane. I think it's a good one because the team is not bad. The problem is how to manage the team to place the ball in the area. Dinamo had great opportunities created, and Chelsea was struggling to find some spots to shoot or even to cross. And then the counter-attack, the defense was kind of bad. Yeah.
Well, I think Graham Potter seems to be the one that everyone wants. He's doing really well at Brighton, and so I think he's probably the guy that they're going to go for. Apparently, I've heard this morning that there's a £15 million buyout clause, and the Chelsea have asked permission to speak to him already. So, yeah.
Well, given the money they spent in the summer, they probably won't hesitate to trigger that, right?
They seem to have a bottomless bit of money. They just can spend at will. Yeah.
It seems to be Todd Boehly's approach is to spend, and then he gave Tuchel very little time to use those new players. So, what does that indicate about Boehly's ownership?
Well, yeah, I mean, players need time, don't they, to bond, and they obviously haven't had the time. I mean, the substitutions last night were unbelievable, really. I mean, they didn't know what they were doing when they came on. So, yeah, I mean, they need time to bond.
The name most closely linked with the job is Graham Potter. Do you think that'd be a good fit?
Could be. I doubt they're going to let him go and come to Chelsea, but, well, hey, it's better than nothing.
Wonderful. Who would you like to come in as the new manager?
I like seeing I'll let Pochettino, is it Pochettino what his name is? I like to see him get older in, so he might come over, like, whatever. We just don't know, actually, otherwise, really,
Spurs fans would hate that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. So, I mean, like, yeah, I'd like to see him sort of there, but I don't know who else, actually,
Another manager linked with the job has been Graham Potter, Brighton manager.
Yeah, the Brighton manager, could be with a job, I don't know that sort of thing,
You've got a special connection with this club.
Yes,
do you want
I
to
do,
tell us
yes.
about that?
My great-grandfather and his brother founded this great club in 1905. And I'm on the way to a lunch and celebrating the life of Matthew Harding, who's the stand at the back there is named after, So, yes, so I've got a huge connection. They invite me a couple of times a season in the foundation box, which is nice.
Have you met Todd Boehly yet?
I haven't met him yet, no, but I'd like to meet him. I'd like to meet him and tell him about the history of the club. It'd be nice, yeah.
So in your in all of your years supporting Chelsea, how does this team and kind of this state of the club compare to it? Like, it's still pretty good, right? All things considered.
It's still pretty good, but there's too much money now. I think that's the problem. I mean, you got the statue of Peter Osgood there. It was a better game back then, I think, in the 70s and 80s. Even when you lost, it wasn't the end of the world. But now everything's money. So it's money. It's 75 grand, 75 million for a player. They're on 400 grand a week. I mean, it's just ridiculous.